Like I said, that school I was talking at, I was like, hey, look, the mower that we use to mow the schools that we do, if I was to buy it new now, it's $60,000.
Yeah.
For a lawnmower. And people are like, for a lawnmower? And it's like, yeah, but you seem to like how we cut the other one. I don't know I don't know what else to tell you. It's just, I don't set the prices. If they were 15 grand, I'd be a lot happier too. But
Absolutely.
I'd
have a couple of them
for cheaper. Yeah, exactly. You'd be the same. If I could get soil, like if I could do this job for $3,000, like the other guy was saying, I'd be doing it for $3,000. It's not like I'm not the problem here, So that's business, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's frustrating when you put your heart and soul into something and somebody comes up to you and go, "What does that cost? $3,000?" Oh my goodness,
Yeah, and I say to people all the time, I wish that I could just walk into everyone's backyard and say, "What would you like?" And they say, "We want this, 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 this." All right, how much money have you got? I've got this. Great, no worries. And just go and do it. And we make business margin. We make enough wages. We make payroll. We make everything else. I wish that was the case, but it's just unfortunately it's not. We've got to set expectations. We've got to set pricing, and that's just the way the world works. So, but I'd love to be able to do whatever anybody wanted for whatever price they could afford. I would love that. I just get to build cool projects all year round.
I don't think people. 99% of people. They don't know maybe not 99, but the vast majority of people, they don't do anything with business, as in like they've got no connection to what it's like running a business at all.
Yeah.
They're school teachers or whatever, physiotherapists, and they work for somebody else, and that's no criticism of them. They just don't know. They don't know what it costs. And so, and even a lot of people running a business, to be fair, they're not very good at working out what their costs are.
Yeah.
And, they don't realise that, for us, as a gardening business that does some maintenance, for me to send my guy to Bunnings is costing me in missed opportunity. If it takes him 20 minutes to go to Bunnings, he's 20 minutes at Bunnings, he's 20 minutes driving back, right? Well, typically speaking, we could do about $150 worth of work in that time.
Yeah.
So I've missed out on 100. I've got limited time in the day. I've missed out on that much money. And so when someone's like, I'll just duck down to the shops and get us this thing, and it's like, well, we have to charge you that because it's going to the shops is no different than digging a hole or mowing the lawn. I still have to cover the wages, and and people just they have no idea. They have no concept that just ducking down to Bunnings costs that much money in business.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
you go, well, if I cut a corner on that one job, am I gonna lose my business? No. But if I got to do that all the time, it gets to a point where no, I can't run a successful business like that.
Yeah.
And and when you start talking, I'm talking about one thing from Bunnings. You're talking about 70 ton of soil. Like that's challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's but that's all part of business, really, isn't it? And I think that is it's a big reason that business owners tend to gravitate towards being friends with other business owners and talk to other business owners and everything else, because they're people that understand it. And it can be hard to find that sometimes, where you say something and people just don't grasp the concept of what you're talking about. So I think that's why people within the industry and people that own businesses tend to gravitate towards having friendships with other people that are in the same situation, because they you can whinge about something on a Friday afternoon and they understand exactly what you're talking about. So
yep. Yeah. What about this? Would you if you could encapsulate one thing? Let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, I'd love to do what Daniel's doing. I want to head down that path. If you were to talk to Daniel from 10 or 12 years ago when you started, on the business side, what's the number one thing you would say that would help you avoid some of the pains and pitfalls that you had early on in business? So speaking to yourself and then thus everybody listening who's interested in what you're doing, number one lesson on the business side of things.
Know your numbers. That's going to be the biggest thing that you can do in any business, is know your numbers. I still need to be better at it, but I know my numbers a heck of a lot better than I did 10 years ago. But I've still got a heck of a long way to go. but that would be my biggest piece of advice. Know your numbers. Don't shoot for a magical turnover number. Know your numbers. Know what you need to make. Know what you need to know when you're investing too much in machinery. Know when you're investing too much in staff. Know when you're not getting the right profit margins. Know when what your overheads are going to be, what your GST, your BAS is going to be. Know all this sort of stuff. Those numbers are going to, it's the difference between being like, oh well, he was a great pond builder or great whatever. Until he went out of business. There's no point being the best at what you do for 12 months or 18 months or 5 years or whatever, but, not creating a sustainable model. And, I've had this conversation with people recently, you aren't necessarily your own client. So you might say, well, I wouldn't buy something like that for $50,000. It's okay, well, you're not selling to you. Yes. And if you can't buy something that you sell for $50,000, does that tell me that you're earning too much money, or does that tell me you're not probably earning enough money if you can't afford to buy your own product? People look at it and say, well, I can't charge that much because I couldn't afford it. Yeah. So, well, if you can't afford it, maybe you're not charging enough to be able to buy your own product. So that's sort of been my realization over the years. But you've got to earn that. You've got to earn that too. You can't just. That's not saying you just walk in and be like, well, I'm going to charge top dollar. You've got to have the skills and knowledge and experience and follow up and communication and everything else. Because I've seen some awful jobs for 80, 90 grand, and I've seen some brilliant jobs for 80, 90 grand. So it just, it doesn't mean that you know everything because you're charging that much. But I think you need to endeavor to find a price that makes you a sustainable business that allows you to grow and allows you to invest back into your staff and yourself and your business and your partner and everything else, and then find how you create that quality and that value for money. Don't be cheap, be valuable.
Yes.